Hey y'all, I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Alyssa.
And this week we are going to be pushing that age gap baton. Okay.
Age gap, like the thigh gap?
No, like a sizable difference in age in dating. Because there, and I don't know. We gonna talk about it, y'all. I don't know at what point does it not fucking matter. Because
yeah, I get heated about this sometimes when I'm talking to boyfriend and his friends about.
And it's like, wait
shit.
a minute. Yes, because to me, if there's still a teen
Yes.
at the end of something, nah. Like, no. I understand.
Teen equals child.
Yes, I understand 18, you're an adult, 19, but for someone, male or female, like I hate that, like, oh, but they're mature for their age. No, you are taking
Literally
advantage.
no.
Like, I don't care how mature they are for their age or how not mature you are for your age. Like, leave the baby alone. Like,
They're a baby.
But to be fair and call myself the fuck out, I have for sure been on the other end of that. I think I've only been in like two or three relationships where I wasn't significantly younger than my significant other. Like, I have, like, everyone that I have been in a relationship with has been 10 plus years older than me. I've dated someone who was the same age, no, older than my father. And yes, I have been there, and in my head I'm like, oh, it's just a number, it doesn't matter. Yes and no. Like,
It's a tricky.
Yes, in some instances I'm like, this makes me uncomfortable. In other, I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like, meet them, have a conversation, see the dynamic of the relationship. I'm like, okay, get in there. Like, in terms of, okay, yeah, this individual is mature, or like, you guys are compatible on different levels and it works. This is your relationship. I'm gonna stay the fuck out of it. But like, it's different when it's, middle school, high school, like early college.
Absolutely.
Like, it just.
It's gross.
Yeah.
It's fucn't gross. It's fucking gross. That's
like,
it.
yeah, that's my stance on it.
It's fucking gross. But yes, did it when I was a freshman in high school? I had a senior boyfriend. Yes. Was I still afraid of wieners? Absolutely. So, like, it was a very surface. Like, my senior boyfriend would drive me home. Like, we went to it was very safe. I did not feel any grooming situation happening, but it was still like.
It's 4 years.
He was 18. And I was, however, fucking 14. Like, there was still that, like, it was kind of weird. And he was very, like, there was nothing fishy about it, but I do wish that someone would have been like, hey, girl,
like,
don't do this.
Like, good?
Yeah,
because in many places and a lot of parents, like, can press charges for that. Like, and and yes, it can go both ways. As parents, having a conversation, I can't imagine that's going to be easy. Having a conversation with your child who is dating someone who is older, younger, whatever.
I mean,
however
I'm going to tell
it
your
is flipped,
kids,
I'm like, yo.
don't fucking do it.
Like,
I'm going to beat your ass.
I'm like, yo, don't let your mama find out.
No, don't let me find out, because I will.
She's like, I'm the one that's going to convince your mother to press charges. And be like,
I will
stay
do
the
it.
Fuck
okay?
away from my kid.
I don't want to I'd forge your mom's signature on a document, okay?
Okay, no.
It comes from a place of protection for me, my frustration with it, because I was not protected as a kid in that aspect, I think.
Same.
I don't want to get into a lot of semantics.
Yep, okay.
But I think that what frustrates me is it's so accepted. We see it in movies. We see it on TV. It's kind of forced at us that it's okay for someone who is 16 with her fucking perfect popping titties that she is like, I don't know what to do with my own body. And everyone else is like, hey girl, look at those tits. Like, yes, okay, like
college
38,
party.
like he thinks you look good. Like, yeah, like that to me is frustrating because like no matter how mature you are for a good up to like, I don't know, in your 20s, it's still like you hate your fucking body. And so you want to go to the people who are like, you have a great body. Okay? The people who are telling, and this is, I guess, maybe me projecting.
Okay.
But like the people who are telling you you have a great body are not the people necessarily that you should be involved with at that time.
Because they want your body.
That is it. The surface of like, yeah, she's got 16-year-old perfect tits. Like, who doesn't want that? I want my 16-year-old, well, actually I didn't have boobs at 16, but like, I would like a 16-year-old's perfect boobs sometimes. Yes, okay? But like, it's the 16, like you said, is teen. Like that's like, I don't know. Most people that I know, like physically did look like an adultish person at that age, but
And
also
it is
didn't
getting
because we still
shorter
have
and
the
shorter.
baby fat. We still have the your most, for many, not every woman, but like your
You're
body
still
is still like
developing.
like you don't have all of the hips that you do later. Like there's just so much about your body that you
And
don't
your
even
mind.
know. And your mind.
That
like,
is
yes,
developing.
but like there's you maybe haven't explored your own body and to like allow someone else to like kind of take that on, and then it just kind of grooms like how do you want to be touched? Well, everyone has always done this, but like I don't know, do you like it? I think there goes it's a lot more of like not just surface. It's I think like the relationship that we have with like being younger, and it's acceptable for boys, for like the teachers who are having relationships with their male students, and they're like, I mean, you know that like
it's a
cool,
fantasy
yeah, like
and it's thought about, yes,
but like
but it's
no, there's still maybe that just because that boy has a fucking hard penis that works doesn't mean he necessarily wants to use it in that way. Like, I mean,
he probably thinks that he does. I can't imagine. I think it's a harder dynamic to explain, not to explain that it's wrong, but for boys to actually like
be like, I don't want
use
this.
yes, exactly.
I'm not
they
ready
think
for
that
this.
They do
because
it's,
we are all like, yeah, like go for it. You know, she's whatever. Like she, cougar.
yes,
Like, you know,
Or, like,
shout
you
out to
bang
cougars.
the
Love you
teacher.
if you're cougaring in the appropriate ages. That it doesn't end in teen.
But wait, did you just hear? Okay, I have to, this little devil over here on your shoulder, because you just said like, yo, get in there, love the cougars that are like, you know, scooping up those.
But
fucking
appropriate,
yeah,
because, and I mean that's kind of what we're talking about. It's like,
True.
what
At
is
what
the
point?
the
Where
right
is
age
the-
gap? I don't know what like the perfect or the right or the like morally and the legal and all of that, but I feel
legally
like
18.
I mean,
yes.
I mean, like I know that, but like I
Yes.
don't like. I think for anyone who is in their late 20s and above, I think it's up to you kind of to decide in your own life. Well, it's up to everyone. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how to like phrase this. I feel like
No, I get it.
it's
This-
totally
this is a
fine
hard button.
for like a cougar or like someone who's into younger. What is the male word for cougar? Like what do we call dudes who like?
We don't. I like, unless, okay, y'all, if I'm wrong,
I'm like, is there
drop
a word
is
that
there-
I'm not knowing?
Drop it in
but
the
like,
comment, and don't forget to click the subscribe button. But
like, you know, if I think for people like if I'm
daddy,
in
a
my
zaddy,
30s
a silver fox, no,
and
silver,
I'm
that's
dating
not it.
somebody who's 50, I don't see a problem with that as long
Right.
as it's a consensual relationship. I don't see an issue if he's 50 and she's 30, if he's 60 and she's 30. It weirds me out personally because then it's like you're literally half of your age, but like
Yes.
that's on
That's
you
on
two
both
adults.
of them. There is still some in my learned experience. There's more experience there in terms of what that older individual wants, and them not necessarily preying on younger people, but taking advantage of that lack of experience.
Yeah.
Like there are exceptions to that, but most definitely, like your life, do your thing. It is still a little like question mark.
But like anyone who's 21, 22 and under, if there's a gap of more than 2 or 3 years, that's a no-go, or that's like a point of frustration for me personally. Because like even at like 21, 22,
You're still figuring shit out.
things are still like, your brain is still very much developing. Your body may or may not be developing, like pending, what sport you did as a kid. Like now it's finally hitting you or whatever. That's gymnasts and dancers.
No, you're right. That just hit, like, it just.
And many other athletes, like their bodies change significantly when they're no longer doing their childhood sports.
I don't know why it hit me the way that it did. Anyway.
I got boobs in college, okay? But like, though, that to me is where it's like, okay, these are still like our young people that we need to protect. And I know that I sound very like, whatever, like a lot of things that people joke about and make fun of, but like, it's just we have such a small window to be free and like childlike, to be childs, to like enjoy that. And for many people who like matured early, it wasn't by choice. It's circumstances that like maybe we had to step up and we had to parent ourselves. We had to parent others. We had to become breadwinners. We were assaulted, like, things that happened to us that got us to the point of, we're not talking about fucking fairy tales and like hide and seek anymore, because the world, like,
something traumatic happened.
We see the world as it is, or are trying to meet it where it is, and have to be that way. And like pulling people out of all of the opportunity to play and laugh and be safe and learn by thrusting them, maybe poor choice of words, by putting them into these relationships where they are now they are an adult, but they're not. They're an adult plaything, and I think that's what frustrates me. And I think that's something that, like, when I'm having this conversation with dudes, because I have had this conversation with many of my dude friends. Shout out to all of you who have had this conversation with me and continue to be my friend. But that's something
I wish I was a fly on a wall for that.
That they continue to not get, or like don't want to see, is like, just because physically, or it appears that someone is maturely there, doesn't mean they're ready for it. And the thing that is frustrating is like, the older that person doesn't give a shit. They don't care about that. It's like, how can I take advantage? How can I enjoy this while it's here, while it's in this fresh, pure, whatever space? And then,
and so much of what you said, Mama, just like hit me in different ways that I was not expecting, like in terms of like being forced into maturity. Because I'm like, oh, duh, light bulb, yes. And because I do believe that it is on that older person, and rarely does it happen, for them to realize like, oh, okay, I have to be the bigger, older person here and realize like this isn't something that I should be doing even though I want to. It takes a different level of being a fucking decent human being and person to step out of what it is that you want, you think you need, and put somebody else first, to put their growth, their innocence, their
future,
and their decency, like that person's developing decency before their own. Surprisingly enough, I have been in a relationship with an individual. He was, 10 years older than me, but he had like a cutoff. He was like, yo, I will not date anyone that is younger than 25 years old. And he's like, I'm not doing it, because no, you still figuring things out. Like, you're in a different headspace than I am, X, Y, and Z. And I really respected that. And I also made that cutoff like by this much. And I was like, yes!
You're like, I'm old enough.
Right? I'm like, what's the problem? Because we did, before we started, like, before we got serious, we had like this back and forth, and like, okay, like, I don't know if I can be the man that you need, or like, is this what you want? Is this what I want? Like, you're right there on that cusp of developing, and I just I'm not that. And I was like, and it also made me more like, oh my God. And so I'm like, were you like, did I just get a little bit mind fucked and into, but I mean, I don't know.
But like, we can also like, and that's like, I have been attracted to many people who are older than me. I have not dated anyone who is more than like 4 years older than me. 5, I think 5 at the very like most. But there is that still like, you're older, you're mature,
right? You're smart,
things,
you
like,
know things, you can help me in life in terms of like
to be with someone who knows the world or like who knows more. Like I think knowledge is extremely attractive.
Yes.
So like it's definitely like it's not like there's one bad person and the other person is innocent because like I mean yeah also that's
I am
a
the
thing.
pot calling the kettle black. I'm like,
that is hard
I'm
about
aware.
that age is also like I'm not a fucking kid.
Right.
So like
Don't
let me be an adult. Like
and
let
make
me
my
act
own decisions.
like I'm gonna dress how I wanna dress. I'm gonna act, older than I like for sure. So it's like when you are the older, you have to know, like you said, when to set the boundary and when to be like, look, it's cute,
You're
but
like, I want
you need to stay in your lane. This has and that's a hard conversation to have. Also because as the younger person, you're immediately like, I'm not good enough. Like,
Rejected
all of the spiral of like, why don't you want me? And that's why like the circle back is like, I think need to portray healthy discussions of like these situations more on TV, in movies, for people to see like, it's okay that you are 17 and, well, it's not okay. Going into clubs and, being somewhere where it's 21 plus and you're 17 because who hasn't tried to do that? But
I had a fake ID for a minute.
That's a normal experience, but it's not normal necessarily to follow through and end up dating a 38-year-old from that time. And, to have the experiences that you are not prepared for that come with when you are, you have a fake ID, that type of thing. Like, I think we just need to see like healthy situations of like how to be there and get out of it and like be okay still, and responsible older people to set those examples of like, okay, yeah, like you may be attractive and I find out that you are significantly younger and we do have a connection, but like,
it's like
no, I can't do this. Like that's because it's not like we can just say like, oh, you can't date someone, like, because that's bullshit. Because again, like hormones and like all of those feelings of like, I'm not a kid, like.
Oh, it's a bit.
It's a mess
button.
Because I have been on one side and now I'm on the other side of like, wanting to protect and like be an advocate to save people from experiences that I've had and the experiences that my friends have had that. We have all been in these situations, and very emotional about this one.
Yes, it
very
is.
Very triggered.
And you guys, we scratched the surface there. I have a feeling we will be back, but we touched on that age gap button. Drop your thoughts down below in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will catch y'all next time. Bye.